apparently. That's what they tell me.
Okay.
We've got a crew of people back there helping us out, keeping us straight,
All 6 feet away.
helping us out,
Yep.
keeping us straight.
All 6 feet away.
All 6 feet
He has
away.
a big room.
That's right.
You okay,
Yeah.
Jimmy?
Am I still on camera? No.
Can you hear me?
Does this look good for the live? I'm just kind of like that. All right.
Looks great.
Yeah.
What? I couldn't hear you. You're too far away.
All right. I think we are live now. Yes.
Yes.
Gun Talk Live. Welcome in. Ryan Gresham here, and I'm with not Kevin Jarnigan. Andrew Wright from SureFire. You know SureFire. You love them. Lights, suppressors, ear pro. So welcome in. How's everybody doing? Today's Gun Talk Live is brought to you by GLOCK and also Springfield Armory. Also, Ruger. They make guns. You may have heard about them. Their 5.56 series, they're really expanding it. They've got the 450 Bushmaster now, of course, 300 Black AR rifles. So that's pretty cool. KJ, what else do we got going?
We've got a winner. Mr. Bill Flynn won. So anyway, he won actually the plate carrier.
Oh, somebody finally won the plate carrier.
Lucky Bill
It's
Flynn.
shipped out.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Might come in handy.
So, no,
It's a weird time, dude.
This week, what are we giving away?
Well, this week we are giving away SureFire Ear Pro. That's short for protection.
You're really, really
Yeah,
sharp.
I really think people don't even know that sometimes. They say ear pro and it's like,
Eye pro, ear pro. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
it's professional.
Sure, sure. Yeah, EP10s, EP5s. For those that don't know, I mean, we can go through it real quick. I'll do some of my stuff here.
Tell them what they won.
So, our hearing protection, first of all, we have a patented ear lock retention ring. That's this round part that goes in the concha bowl of your ear. It allows the ear protection part, the stem, to stay in your ear without it backing out for long periods of time, and it's a really comfortable way of doing that. It molds to the shape of your ear. So the EP5's a solid block. It gives you 26 decibels of noise protection. The EP10 has a foam tip, and it gives you 30 decibels of protection. So both really, really good.
The SureFire Ear Pro is, it's like, I think a lot of people are discovering it because they go, this is, like I was telling you earlier, I think they're like the old school earplugs, except on steroids in a high-tech version. So they work better. Generally, people install them better. And also, they're comfortable. You wear them for all day.
Yeah, we have a bunch of different models depending on what you're doing. Obviously, you know, your task or dictates the tool for the job. So, you know, if you're shooting handguns outside, you can get away with one of our like EP3s or EP4s, which have a noise filter, and with that has a cap that you can run open, and you can hear conversational tones much better.
Yeah.
If you're shooting something a little louder, you can close that cap, and you get a little bit more protection. So there's a lot of flexibility in that, and a lot of technology in that little package. And they're also quite affordable. So like the EP3, EP4, around the $15 range, all the way up to the EP10 in the $25 range-ish, depending on where you get it. But compared to electronic hearing protection, I mean, that's super affordable and a whole lot of capability. And as you know, protecting your hearing is extremely important.
Yeah, there's no going backwards. You can't regain lost hearing. So it is super important. So if you comment, you're watching on Facebook, you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and comment, leave questions. If you got questions about SureFire or lights or suppressors, definitely comment in. We'd love to answer those questions. But if you comment, you are entered to win the SureFire Ear Pro. Also, Gun Talk Live is brought to you by Sig Sauer. You know Sig Sauer, the P365. They have the P365 SAS, which is a different concept, kind of like no sights sticking up. The XL, just a lot of different options for you. And so check them out at sigsauer.com. I think probably our audience knows about the P365. Everyone seems to love that gun. So, Andrew, you guys have introduced some new stuff. Let's talk about lights.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as far as handgun weapon lights, you know the advantages of having a weapon light on your handgun.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're using a handheld in conjunction with a handgun, your ability to control recoil is reduced. Your ability to accurately shoot is reduced. Your ability to do any type of manipulation, whether it's a reload or a malfunction, is reduced. So everything is exponentially better if you can have a weapon light.
Yeah.
Our X300 Ultra,
The gold standard.
is kind of the bread and butter handgun weapon light these days. Super bright. These are 1,000 lumens, good runtime, ambidextrous, really good activation. Push forward for momentary. You can constant on it either way.
And they're great, but they're not as small as a lot of the guns are getting these days.
Yeah, so you can see, I mean, it's because it's 2 batteries side by side, it makes the gun a little bit fatter. For home defense, it doesn't matter. For duty use, when you have, armor on, helmets, comms, all that stuff, and you're wearing a Safari Land holster that has retention,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter that it's
additional
big, yeah.
bulk, you want the capability. However, for concealed carry, the bulk matters. It definitely makes a difference in how concealable it is. So we have, like right now, shipping, we have our XC1, our XC2, weapon lights. I was just talking to KJ about those. Excellent option for concealed carry, super small. On like a Glock 19, they don't make it wider, they don't make it longer, but it gives you a lot of capability in a small package.
Yeah, the XR2 light and laser.
Yeah, so those are the new models. We showed those or debuted them for the first time at SHOT Show. The XR2 is a light laser combination. The XR1 is a light only. And those are now up to 600 lumens with a rechargeable battery. The battery is removable on those. So if you're taking if you're push forward on the latch and then push up, there you go.
So this is the cool part. Okay, rechargeable batteries, and you don't have to. I was joking with him earlier. You don't have to plug in your gun, but you can actually take the battery off and actually have multiple batteries, like you were saying.
Exactly. I mean, ideally you should be training with your firearm and your weapon light, so you should take some low light classes of some sort, get some familiarity with it. And most of those courses are going to be several hours long in low light, and therefore you need to be able to hot swap those batteries to keep on training. You don't want that to be the preventing mechanism.
Yeah, hold on, guys. I need to go charge up.
Right, give me an hour or so.
Well, also it's just a backup, having an extra battery. I mean, you could have it plugged into in your truck or at the house or whatever, and kind of always have one on standby.
Yeah, so we're super excited for the XR1, XR2. That'll be coming out in the August time frame.
Okay.
Start shipping. A lot of people have been asking on social media, so thought we'd touch on it here.
Cool. KG, you got some questions?
We've got some questions coming in.
All right.
Tyler Sellers says, should give away a couple of lights.
Let's give away a truck.
Yeah.
Let's quit messing around.
What
here.
about a house?
Yeah. You won a new SureFire house.
And you get a car.
Let's hang out with a midget. Says, what's the best gun to shoot for a first timer?
Good screen name.
Best name ever.
Yes.
Screen name. Let's hang out with a midget.
I don't think that's the PC name nowadays, though.
Did he?
I'm just reading names.
I wonder if
doing
he
the
ran
job.
out of characters. What's the limit on characters
It's
for a
all in
YouTube?
caps, too, so he is very adamant.
He's yelling. Let's hang out with a midget. Oh,
Yes.
geez.
What?
What's the
What was the question?
what was the question? What's the best gun to shoot for a first-time shooter?
I'd say personally, I'd start with what's the age of the person? But I guess regardless, I'd probably start with a 22. With
22.
some firearm safety. You know
22
what I mean?
is a great place to start.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, and then you can move on from there probably pretty quickly. If you're an adult and you have no issues as far as grip strength and all those things, you could probably start with a 22, get comfortable, and then very quickly move on to probably a full-size 9mm would be the next step.
That's what I would say. Yeah. 100%. Man, it's frustrating seeing, I see a lot of people, I don't know about you, but at shooting ranges that have a firing line, and they're taking their girlfriend or whatever, their significant other or their brother to go shoot, and they want to get them to shoot the 12 gauge first. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? You're just going to taint their experience. Get them to shoot and get some confidence and have fun, and don't beat them up.
Yeah, I mean, even us, these are folks here who shoot a lot of guns. When we get to do 22 stuff, it's still really fun.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's not like, well, it's just a little 22, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. No, 100%.
That's where you start out.
Yep.
What else?
A light question. He says, new to the light game, this is from Scott. Is there a rating on tactical lights for caliber rating when mounting on a rifle?
No.
I'm guessing, is there any type of rating, like can a,
I haven't seen a scout light on a howitzer yet.
Yeah.
But no, really there's not. I mean, you could put on pretty much all, small arms carried by personnel. You can mount any of our scout lights, any of our weapon lights.
You're not going to break the light.
You're not going to break
shoot
the
it
light
on a big gun.
No, that's a good question though.
Yeah.
I've seen, we have a Vampire scout light, which is a white light and infrared
Super
head.
cool.
So you can rotate
Yeah.
the head to switch between white light and IR for use with night vision devices. So I've seen a lot of those on larger caliber bolt guns, for kind of a military application or anybody that wants to shoot a long range. But a lot of military guys are using CNVDs, clip-on night vision devices, and want more IR thrown down range. And therefore, a Vampire scout light's a good way to do that on top of like a normal aiming device.
Yeah, I love the Vampire for hog hunting. We're going out down here, night vision. You got that option. It's crazy because you just flip the head, and now you've got white light or you've got IR, which is just super cool.
It's a really good beam pattern. So, you have a good hot spot with a whole lot of throw, but there's also a decent amount of spill. It's also super clean. A lot of, if you've used a PEC 15 or whatever device, a lot of their illuminators look like a petri dish, which can be very distracting on your nods. You know what I mean? You have a lot of particulates just because of how that's diffused. So the Vampire is super, super clean and crispy and makes picking up the information from your environment a little easier.
Yeah, if you're wearing night vision, using night vision, it's always helpful to have some sort of IR light to help you out. Because the thing is, there's certain nights, if you're outdoors, for instance, that it's no problem. You got a full moon, you got a lot of light helping you out, but depending on what the night and the conditions, a little extra.
Yeah, I do a lot of cave hunting and not a whole lot of ambient moonlight in there.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Bat IR.
Okay, another question from Luke. Is there a good pressure plate for those lights, or is it pistol only?
Is there a good?
Oh, to put
a
the
pressure plate
XR2 on like a long gun?
Yeah.
No, not for those guys. XR1, XR2, and the XC1, which is the current XC2, those are handgun only. They're meant for concealed carry. They're definitely not
They're
oriented
smaller.
towards long guns. Our X300s and the X400s, which is the light laser combination version of the X300. Same basic footprint, body, all that, and has a laser module on it. X300s, X400s. We do have the XT, which is an accessory, X-ray Tango. It replaces the battery door. You can just take this battery door off, put the other one on, and then you can put a normal long gun pressure switch on it. I will say you'd probably be better off just going with the Scout light in general.
Yeah, it's built for that.
It's built for it. I mean, the switching is better. X300s, X400s. So you have two exposed switches here, these toggles. It's meant to live in a holster where it's not going to be accidentally hit, as opposed to a Scout light, which has a shrouded tail cap. So if you sling a rifle, you don't have to worry about that button getting a white light ND or negligent discharge. With the X300, these switches are exposed. Even when running that pressure switch accessory, anything can turn this light on and gives you a white light ND. Whether you're hunting or doing tactical stuff, you don't want that to happen.
Better idea to kind of use the light. It's designed a certain way. This is a rifle light. This is a pistol light. That kind of thing.
But we do have that option for the X300s and the X400s. If you want to go that route, it might make sense if you already have it.
Yeah. One of your products that I've been carrying for a while is the stiletto.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this guy, and what I
got
like
one, too.
about it, hey, I got one too. It's got the tail cap kind of activation, right? But then it also has buttons so you can hold it a different way, and it's actually different levels of brightness. You can see that.
Yep. And then that left button's programming. So if for whatever reason you want it to come on high first on the front, you can. You can switch what the switches do.
And rechargeable.
Yeah, and it's rechargeable, which is super important for an EDC light, I think. I'm using this thing all the time, whether it's just checking under the car or looking, seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
Walking through a dark area. And being able to not burn through batteries and just throw it on a charger is really nice.
I'll be honest, I was kind of like, well, let me try it out. Let me see how I like it or whatever. And the rechargeable part, I was like, well, I don't know. Am I going to be carrying it and it's just going to go dead on me? And I'll be honest, it never has.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not real religious about charging it. It's kind of like, it seems like every few months I'll think about it and I'll go, oh, I'm driving somewhere, let me throw it on charge for 5-10 minutes, or I'm at the house, I'll throw it on charge for a little while.
Yeah.
And I've never run it dry.
Yeah, runtime's super good. this is off the cuff, but I think it's around an hour, 1.25-ish, maybe on high.
No one's listening. It's fine.
And but on low, it's probably over 40 hours just based on the amount of power in here. And most of the tasks that I use, I'm using the lower outputs because the high is too bright.
Right.
And on the lower output, it's going to last a really, really long time. So awesome for EDC.
Yeah, I'd like for the EDC, for your little pocket light, I'd like to have a low setting and a high setting. Obviously high setting, see everything, but it's funny, you take for granted the low setting, because then you start having to do weird stuff of covering it up and not messing up your vision.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
KJ, what else is coming in?
Well, they're complaining about your light discipline. They're blind.
Oh, well, yeah. Why are you shining at me, bro? I was trying to show you how bright the light is.
And Let's Hang Out asked what's the best holster for his, I'm guessing, G19, GLOCK 9.
Just best holster in general? There's only like 500 holster companies.
Are you jumping out of helicopters or are you concealed carrying?
Concealed carry.
Okay. I don't know. I mean,
there's a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of good companies, man. A lot of good companies. I don't know if I want to start rattling off.
Sure,
I got buddies at so many different holster companies that you just hurt everyone's feelings.
Yeah, you're going to get in trouble if you name one. Yeah. There's a lot of good ones. Preference, though, in general, preference for concealed carry inside the waistband. Then you can start a bar fight between where we're going to carry it on our person.
Yeah, yeah.
And we can all argue about that for like the next 6 hours.
I'll give a plug to Rob. He helped me out with a real last-minute project. Off the Grid Concepts, they make some good Kydex holsters, but there's a billion, man. Raven, QVO, Black Point Tactical. There's a lot of really good, and they all make super, super good products. And yeah, like you said, just make sure it's something that you think is actually really going to be comfortable for you.
Yeah,
and
something that you're going to wear.
It.
Yeah. Does it have, it's probably like maybe a checklist, right? Does it retain the gun? So there's, whether it's actual retention like law enforcement or something like that would use, but probably most of you don't need that.
Friction fit.
But a friction fit where you can kind of feel it go in. Some of them almost kind of have a click. You can kind of go, okay, yeah, it's locked in there. So I know some of the trainers will say, have you ever been in a fight? Talking about holster fit. Have you ever been in a fight? Have you ever ended up on the ground? If you're rolling around on the ground and you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you don't want your gun to fall out of the holster if you're wrestling somebody.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. And I think, like you're saying, with most of the Kydex holsters, if they're well done, there's a click, there's a positive click, and even with a loaded mag, upside down, you can shake it a little bit, and the gun's not going to fall out. And I think that's
kind of what you're looking for.
I think that's super important. You know what I mean? There's other types of holsters that made of different materials that might not have as much pressure, and they might be good for a very niche application depending on where you're wearing it. But in general, I'm not much of a fan of soft fabric on the side of my trigger guard that might be able to be pushed in.
Well, and also makes it very hard for reholstering.
Yeah, exactly.
If you draw and now the fabric closes up after the gun's not in there, now you have to
flag yourself to.
Yeah, it's a fun game of trying to not point a gun at your hand. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, those are good points. I'd want to make sure it has some decent retention. More than anything, be comfortable and be something that you're actually going to, obviously protect the trigger as well. Make sure it has good coverage of protecting the trigger.
Right. I mean, there is a safety function of a holster. It's probably one of the main functions. And there's some interesting designs out there that don't do that. They don't protect the trigger.
Yep.
And they go, it's super slim, super skeletonized, whatever. And
no thanks.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that.
Yeah, and I also look at the clips. I mean, people have different types of belt clips. Some are more advanced than others, and some have really nice features. But figure out it's a preference thing. I think what type of clip you like, and which one's the best.
It's a clip
what
or
are you
magazine?
laughing at?
Which is it? I don't know.
I'm talking about the. Yeah, I see what you're doing.
I see what you did there.
I see what you did there.
KJ, any other questions? I'm not monitoring comments today, so I got to throw it to this guy.
Belt clips is what I should have said.
Belt clips. Wait, what? Fanny pack holsters?
Yes, someone asked a question about a fanny pack holster.
Honestly, if you're wearing a fanny pack, I mean, you're
He's in a
so.
wheelchair,
Can I say
so
badass?
it's-
Yes, you can say it.
You're so badass that you probably don't need to worry about the gun
Well,
because
he's in a wheelchair, so it's hard for him to maneuver. So he
Fanny
figured
pack
out the
makes
best
sense then.
thing to do,
Yeah.
which is actually pretty smart.
Yep.
Was to have it in a fanny pack.
It does, and we've dealt with this a little bit before. Generally, the recommendation as far as wheelchair carry is it does need to be on your person, because I know some people have said, oh, well, I could attach it to the wheelchair. But bad guys are bad guys, and they don't really care if you're in a wheelchair. And the first thing that a bad guy is going to do is they're going to dump you out of the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And now if the gun is connected to your chair, no bueno.
So I'd say, I mean, I'm not an SME in this. I feel like I'm talking out of school, but I'd say, there's a couple different ways to do it. One, Raven Concealment makes this thing called a Vanguard, which is a trigger guard protector. It's a very minimalist holster. It's not even really a holster, but it clips on over the trigger guard. And they do make a belt clip for it. No, I don't even know if you do. I think you basically just stick it in your pants. It covers the trigger guard, but there's a lanyard hole, and you can connect that to a lanyard, so some 550 cord that thing to the fanny pack. Therefore, your trigger guard's protected. You're not going to have an ND in the fanny pack, but when you go to draw it, it's connected to the fanny pack and it will disengage. Now, it's like you said, troublesome to reholster that. There's also different companies that make like Velcro-backed holsters. Maybe you could put it in there on a Velcro back, like you see some of that with the Hill Peeper gear, style bags for hunting. But I think I'd go one of those two routes.
I would say this, if you're looking for different options, and especially if it's something maybe a little bit different, it's not just a traditional belt holster setup, you can't just put a gun in it and start carrying it. You gotta get to the range, you gotta try it out and test it in a real slow, safe fashion to make sure I'm able to draw it safely and efficiently, I'm able to reholster safely and efficiently. And yeah, I mean, there are times when there's a setup that doesn't really lend itself to the reholstering as much. And maybe if that's the solution, you just know that going in.
Yeah.
And you have a plan for that. Go, okay, what am I going to do with this gun once I'm done?
Yep.
Get it out of my hands if I need my hands or whatever. I don't know.
Think your way through it 100%. Yeah. I mean, there's no free lunch, and sometimes you might have to deal with equipment that's difficult to reholster, but just know what you're getting into, like you said, and plan for it accordingly.
Yeah. So what other questions you have, you can throw them out there. I know that we put into the description here because SureFire has some pretty cool things. We actually found some deals and some places to buy the SureFire stuff. So we've got some links into the descriptions of these videos. So if you're interested in checking that out, just click through on the link and you can find some SureFire products for sale a few different places. Mr. KJ?
That's it.
All right.
We're still
Cool.
talking,
We're arguing about fanny packs over there? All right.
What's the last training course that you went to?
The last training course I went to
It's a good topic.
was, it's always connected to a media event, which is not a training course. It's always, I think it was probably a tactical rifle course. And I will say this, doing a tactical rifle course, even a basic one, can be a humbling experience because we all love to go shoot our AR-15s, but when they go, all right, everybody, let's set up double feeds and work on that for a while, it frankly just sucks.